especially the people who voted for Barack Obama. We would like to see something get done. I thought at this point in his tenure, I would be making jokes about our first black president and what a gangster he is, you know, and how he's... Instead, we got like another in a long line of those Democrats like Al Gore and Dukakis who just look wimpy. You know, he looks like when they asked Dukakis, you know, what would you do if someone raped your wife? And he said, well, I would put out a 5-point plan, or whatever he said.
Yeah. You just said you had not given up on him. Do you think the president still has greatness in him? And that comes with a corollary question, which would be, if he does have greatness in him, is he ever going to share that greatness with the rest of us?
Yes, I think he's highly intelligent, and of course we don't know everything he knows and what he has to deal with. I don't think the lack of greatness is in what he wants to do and where he wants to move the country. And actually, as we do know, although it's not widely reported in the mainstream media, this was one of the most successful Congresses in like 40 years, probably since LBJ. The problem is they don't tell people about it. I was watching this, 60 Minutes has done a couple of pieces in the last month or so about the recession and how it's affecting people. And I saw this woman literally in tears telling Scott Pelley, I think it was, that, she just doesn't know if she can afford to keep her kid in college with the tears coming down. And I thought, instead of crying, read, find out. There actually is one party that has been addressing that issue. It's not just, oh, they all don't do anything in Washington. One side is trying a little harder than the other.
To that point, is the following a fair statement, do you think, and if so, why is it true or not true, that Republicans and conservatives are actually better at getting done what they want to get done or what they were elected to get done, whether or not it's good or bad for the country, that they're better at it than Democrats are?
Way better.
Yeah.
Way better. Democrats used to be good at it. I mean, if you look at all the ways in which they moved the country forward from the New Deal onward, civil rights and Social Security and Medicare, all those programs, and by the way, implemented quickly. 11 months after I think it was they passed Medicare, people were enjoying the benefits, as opposed to what we do now, kick it down the road to 2018 or whenever this stuff starts. But yes, because they kept their people in line, and they knew how to twist arms and do those things that FDR and LBJ used to be good at. But we don't have Democrats like that anymore. So what we have is one side, which, as you and I think, are on the same page with this. There is the false equivalency is a sin in this country. To pretend that both sides have moderates, they don't. Yep. There are no moderates on the Republican side. There are no Republican senators who will argue that global warming is a hoax anymore. Yeah. For example, at some point the left moved to the center. The right moved into a mental hospital, and there is no middle anymore. The Republicans keep staking out turf further and further to the right, and then demand that the Democrats meet them in the middle, except that it's not the middle anymore. That's why health care is so watered down, because it's really Bob Dole's old Republican plan from 1994, but somehow that got to be the middle now. Yeah. Same thing with cap and trade.
Right. The middle is the near right. You mentioned false equivalence. I'm not fishing for either compliments nor reassurance here, but I don't know that I've ever heard this from you at any length. Give me your assessment of television news and its effect on American politics today.
Well, gee, you could write a whole book on that. I mean, since people have stopped reading in general, for good or bad, we're stuck with it. That's how people get their news. I think you mentioned Christine O'Donnell there at the top. I think I read that was the most reported story of the entire midterm elections was Christine O'Donnell. That's pretty sad. But, I think the place where I go for in-depth coverage is opinion news. And when I say opinion news, people like you and Rachel and Lawrence O'Donnell and Chris Matthews, you guys have the time to really go into depth on an issue. So I think that does perform a service as long as you stick to the facts. You guys care about the facts. I know the conservatives would disagree, but the truth is, and here's the false equivalency part, one side in our great national debate just makes crap up. As you well know.
Yep.
I mean, when I covered this issue on our show, and you know, we are a little incestuous lately, let's be honest, in our opinion, news, comedy, whatever it is, business we're in, because there was Jon Stewart's thing, and then you comment, and then I took your side in that, and then John said something about me, and I said something about Rachel about him, and you know, it's all gotten a little crazy. But basically what I was saying was, you were right about that. You and Glenn Beck are not the same. One of you tries to stick to the facts. The other one is very close to playing with his poop.
And beautifully phrased that was. Bill Maher, Peoria on the 3rd, Merrillville on the 4th, Tulsa on the 10th, Reno on the 11th, attend all 4, and you get a free package of Pop-Tarts and Spam. Bill, great thanks. I hope to see you in the new year in your place.
Okay, you will. Okay. Thank you.
And we're all set. Thanks, Bill.